All right, Dean, me old mucker. I'm just making a response to, on buttocks, because there was a question of why it was that I was actually focused on you. So I'm going to go into that. What I will say is, it was pretty obvious the disparity between your attacks and my points. Like, yes, I'm getting to a point now where I am throwing what my perception of your behaviour is and things like that, but that's where it stops. Yours is just like, it's just so low grade. It is just, I mean, it's off the top of your head now, I'm going to go into that, but like, even just the stuff that you have got, you've got like one still picture of one tiny bit of soil in one nail from 2 months ago, and you're making your living off it, which is just like so sad. And anyone who saw that will have seen that, and they're just, I mean, the voice that you put on, the whole thing, the way you just dragged it out for so long, it's there was just no material there was no jokes there was just nothing. It was just you, like a child play acting. Like, my 6-year-old could run rings around that. I'm not joking at all. And I'm just saying, like, to anyone who's watching, like, if you don't see the disparity in that, then you've got so much more to learn about life, and it's just way more than I can do in explaining this to you to get you to see it. And so you guys who want to just hang on to like fucking Debo, get over yourself. That was such a ridiculous comment when they're the ones bringing all that stuff up. But you can just enjoy that. Just have a go about my nails and keep yourself quiet. And while I talk to the real people, because like Chief Bimbo, Chief Debo Airhead, Chief Obvious Stater and Low Grade Propagandist, people like you are the ones that get the colouring in sheets to keep you occupied. And this could have been left as a colouring in sheet for you, Dean. I could have done that. I could have just left you colouring this in forever. I mean, you probably will anyway, because you ignore the reality. But I'm so intrigued by it because it's just random as fuck. I was like, jaw hit the floor, because I just didn't expect that. So yeah, I won't confirm or deny your story or your tale, whatever it is, that it's just me and my mother or something, or whatever that was that you were saying. But I'm really interested into why you would jump to that conclusion that at 42 years old that it's just me and my mother. It's just bizarre. Like, and it's really interesting, like, why you think that because I'm not in a marriage or something with a guy, that I'm automatically at some very low level and automatically lives with my mother. That says so much. I'm like, how was your upbringing? What was your upbringing for you to assume that? Were you brought up by your grandparents? Your defensive attacks, the childlike level of them, which is just an observation, it's just clear to everyone, I'm not having a go, it is, they are very childlike, you've got to admit that. And with this mad association that you've just splurged emotionally all over the place, leads me to believe that someone really hurt you over a long period when you were a kid, because of the placement of where your attacks are, the level of where they are. And maybe you still don't know it, and you still kind of think it's all normal to be like this. I've not got a small experience with this as well. I've had my own experience with this. You have to excuse me there, my phone only lets me record for a few minutes at a time. So, where was I? I was just saying, you probably, there is a chance that people under those circumstances, when they've had a bit of a hard time emotionally, and it shows in their behaviour, because they're just very low trust levels, very defensive, low levels of humour, very thin-skinned, very mardy arse, But no one's perfect. I've got my own issues like that as well. I can be a mardy arse as well. But the difference is, I know it's not my fault. When things that happened to you when you were a kid, anything that might have knocked you, You've got to put that work in and deal with your inner child. And it's not all this violin playing, it's not your fault, Dean, but you know, there's an element of truth in that. There is a hurt part inside us all, possibly, and something indicates to me that that might be the case with you. I take the piss out of you because you show your psychology so blatantly, and at the same time you're attacking, and on top of that, obviously, the low level of those attacks, but you're at the same time attacking and needing to feed. And I just want you to stop feeding on me mates. That's it. I also want you to try and be responsible for your own happiness, and not like drag it out of other people, and just lighten up a bit. If you're going to be chucking stuff at people, you're going to have to be able to lighten up and take a bit of it back. The nastiness and the childishness in all of this comes from you, and it reflects back at you. That whole energy comes from you. You called us a joker gang for a reason. That's because people actually make jokes, which obviously little kids don't do that. So basically, if you weren't like that, if you weren't so dangerous to be around in that sense, like, there's no point in me going on Buttocks's panel to talk to you. You know that, I know that, because your main aim would just be to just ram it into the ground and not give me a chance to talk. There'd be literally no point in doing it. Things like that, if it wasn't for things like that, and you not owning it, you know, if you owned it, that'd be something, but you don't. You lie and say it's not like that, then I would have loads of time for you. I'd like you, because I've got time for all types of people. I think variety makes the world go round, and none of us are perfect. But you know that there is a nasty streak to you, Dean, that is deep down, and I think that nasty streak runs quite deep and is quite large. It's taking over me. It's going to take over, and it's going to stop your relationships. Yes, I'm sure on the surface you've got plenty of surface level mates. I'm sure you do very well at work. But I think deep down you know what I'm getting at there, and there's a level of something that you don't let in there. You don't let in that true feeling, that true connection with other people. But Dee, you can change it. You can change all this, and it is hard, but you're only 40, and the door opens inwards. The only other thing I was going to say to you is that I will bring this up, and I thought was interesting, was why you would focus on mothers as well at this point, just after the Lewis situation. I find that very interesting, that you guys have just taken a loss on that, and it's all to do with mothers, and then you, completely unbidden, bring that up as one of your few attacks towards me, and then harbour on it forever and ever. And you're just like, why would you keep reminding everyone of something which is proven that has been a loss for you guys, with something that is completely unprovable and like unbased regarding me or other people? I just find that odd, and I always think to myself, what purpose does it serve that? I'm mystified, but if you would respond, I'd actually watch that one. Alright then, see ya.
Bigger and yet smaller. It's computers.